Yep, we should be A-okay.
Why, hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Anime Club Awards show.
Award.
We're not trash taste. We know how to spell awards.
That's true. We have more brains than Monkey.
I'm one of your hosts, Knick-Knack. With me is your other host, Seki.
Yes, the great Lord Seki.
I wouldn't go that far. I was only legally obligated to call you Seki in a full-tone voice this time. No.
That's fair. But we are coming back to you at the turn of the tides. No, it's the end of season 2. And we've got another shitty tier list.
Somehow we still have the energy to go on another season at least. So we figured we'd give you a tier list.
With that being said, I think we can get straight into it. And you'll notice that there are already 3 shows up on the tier list that we have pre-placed. And that's because those are all shows that we started in season 1.
They may not necessarily stay in this tier. So if you've been keeping up with the season, you'll know whether or not they rose or fell. But this is where they were last season for reference. These are the shows that continued. Do you want to go through the shows that are up to see go through all the shows here real quickly?
Yeah, so we watched.
Why don't we just go and start with the ones that are up there already, and then we'll go in order of the boxes.
So we watched Overlord season 2, bringing us up to completing the first 2 seasons. Code Geass, we finished through episode 25,
which brought us to the end of season 1.
Yes, Fairy Tail, we finished Galuna Island up to episode 20. Fate Zero, we finished, I believe.
Yes.
2 submissions. We watched the first season of Konosuba, the first 30 episodes of One Piece, the first season of Clean Freak Aoyama-kun.
And only season.
Yeah. We watched all of Puella Magi Madoka Magica.
Our first show this season was Ishizoku Reviewers somehow.
Oh boy, interspecies reviewers. There were things said and things happened. And then we had My Next Life as a Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom, or Hamefura.
Persona 3, the game, not the movie.
We did finish all of season 1 of A Certain Magical Index.
Yes. And all of season 1 of Kaguya.
Sama Love is War. And then we had Bofuri, I Don't Want to Get Hurt, so I'll max out my defense.
A title. I want to say that's Invaders of the Rokujoma, right?
Invaders of the Rokujoma. Which
Not
is,
a Rokujoma. The Rokujoma.
Which is mistitled in all of our YouTube videos. And then we have the case files of Lord Elmeloy II.
You're not going to read out that entire name?
God, no, I don't know it by heart.
Grace Note, Rail Zeppelin.
I
think fancy. I could even be wrong there.
I think you're right. Then we had Goblin Slayer.
And then Saint Young Men, or Saint Starro Nissan.
Yes. And then we had
Garden of Sinners, Overlooking View.
Thank you. I could not tell what that is. And I think after that we had Lupin the Third, the First, followed by Kaichawa Maid-sama, or My Class President is a Maid.
And then finally we have Saga of Tanya the Evil, the movie. I don't think there was a subtitle.
I don't think so. No, it was just a movie. Just a movie. And this season, you'll notice we do have movies mixed in, more than just as a joke, because we did do some serious movie submissions towards the end. And with that being said, I would say that we can maybe go in chronological, the order that we watched these in, and we can move them around as needed.
All right, let me go ahead and pull up the docket.
What you don't understand is we have like 15 pages of paper between us and like 17 screens. We're trying here, but we're not really great at multitasking.
All right, so our first series for the season was Ishizoku Reviewers.
Oh, a real winner.
From me, Realm, and Seki. It got an uwu, and it got a shit from Vorn, but that's fine. It only needs 2 to end up in the uwu tier, so... Following that is Code Geass, which got an approval from me, Vorn, and Realm, with only a neutral from Seki. It remains in B tier. Fate Zero got an approved from me and Seki and a neutral from Vorn and Realm, putting it into C tier.
Joining Fairy Tail.
For now. Following that, Clean Freak Aoyama-kun got a approval from me, Knick-Knack, Vorn, and Seki with a neutral from Realm.
Putting it squarely into B tier.
Yes, indeed. All right, following that is Persona 3, the movie. I don't remember the name of that one, actually. There's actually a subtitle to that.
Spring of Rebirth.
That's right. And that one got a neutral from Realm and a shit from everyone else, but it cannot go into toilet. It needs a unanimous vote, so it sticks in E tier.
I have opinions.
And then for One Piece, an approval from Seki,
Of course.
me, Knick-Knack, and Realm, and a neutral from Vorn, placing it squarely in the B tier.
Far below where it belongs. This show is godlike.
Sure. Next is a certain magical index, which received a unanimous approval.
Oh, do I regret that?
Followed by One Piece, which retained its spot in the B tier with no changes to votes.
Woohoo! So far, viewers, you will notice that this is Seki's first time above C tier.
You're
in
not
2
wrong.
seasons.
Then was Puella Magi Madoka Magica.
Is it Magi or Maggie?
Magi, Magi. I don't quite know. It'd be
I
pronounced
think I
Magi
always
with
say
Japanese.
Magi, though, because
It's
I
Magi
think
as far as we go, but if it's spelled if it's in Japan, it would be Magi.
okay. I think I'm just gonna keep saying.
It's Magi as far as
yeah.
we're concerned, because that is actually how it'd be pronounced in English.
Okay.
That gets an approval from me, Realm, and Seki with a shit from Vorn, but screw you, Vorn.
That boy has no culture.
Followed by, let's see, I've lost. Oh, here we go. My Next Life is a Villainess with a unanimous approval.
It so deserved that. Such a great show. It was cute.
After that, Index, which did see a change. Seki had dropped it to neutral, putting it into the B tier.
It really didn't deserve to be up there with Villainess.
Following that is a show that does. Kaguya-sama Love is War with a unanimous approval. And then more unanimous approvals with Bofuri.
We had a real streak of approvals mid-season.
And then another unanimous approval, including a guest approval with Konosuba.
Konosubarashi Sekai wo. Wow, I got at least half of that.
It's like I don't know.
It's
There's an actual English subtitle.
It's Konosubarashi Sekai wo something something.
God's gift on this wonderful earth.
God's blessing to this wonderful world. Yes.
And God's gift on this wonderful world.
I'm pretty sure it's blessing. Oh yeah, God's gift to this world is Ryan Reynolds.
After that is Invaders of Rokujoma, which got neutrals from me, Vorn, and Seki, and an absolute shit from Realm.
Putting it in
E tier.
I'm surprised Realm was the one to break the trend there.
Yeah. After that is Kaicha wa Maid-sama, which I think did not impress as much as it meant to.
No, it didn't. But
it
you
got
know what?
an approval from Seki and a neutral from everyone else, putting it into D tier.
Yeah.
I feel like I've skipped something. Yes, I did.
What did you skip?
Prior to Index dropping in tiers, Fate Zero should have risen a tier, as Vorn switched to an approval for the second half.
Putting it into B tier.
Yes.
Probably.
And I only remembered this because after Kaicho wa Maid-sama, Fairy Tail also vacates the C tier, going down to D tier. Because I think it was me actually that.
I think it was you. Rating. Yeah.
No, I had a Mad before. I think it was Realm.
Okay.
No, it was Vorn. I don't remember.
Whoever. Somebody changed
their rating, but it's no longer in the C tier. Womp womp. And then with unanimous approvals is the Case Files of Lord Elmoy II, Grace Note, Rail Zeppelin.
True gift from God.
And then Overlord retains its spot in the A tier. Can it retain its grand prize that it won last season, though? Following that, a surprise win for Goblin Slayer, which got unanimous approval, despite not looking too promising going in. After that, the Saga of Tanya the Evil. For note here, it's a movie continuation of the series, which ended up in the same spot it did here. 3 approvals from everybody but me, Knick-Knack. The series, if you remember, had the same thing, so it's not surprising it landed in B tier, I think.
No, and I don't think any of us expected you to change your mind.
No.
Because it wasn't revolutionary and it didn't change.
And here's the suicide drop from me, Garden of Sinners, Overlooking View, with Mez from everybody except for Vorn, who gave it a shit, putting it into E tier.
I'd say that's unfortunate and it didn't deserve it, but it
it absolutely deserved it. I have an actual personal dislike of that movie.
Yeah.
Following that is Saint Young Men, at which point unfortunate pattern exists of me giving it a neutral and everyone else giving it an approved.
Which is interesting because I think out of all the movies we watched, 2 of them did actually deserve to go up into A tier.
Following that was Lupin the Third, the First, which once again I gave a neutral. I don't know. Something about the movies just didn't hit me this season.
But with that being said, we do have now to choose from our grand prize. We have 7 unique anime this season.
That is much more than last season.
Unlike
if you've seen last season's video, it was just, what was it?
Noragami and Overlord.
With Overlord taking the grand prize.
And with that being said, because we were only voting between 2 last season, we just said one or the other, make your vote. But this season, instead, we decided to go with a points-based system and rank all 7 of the shows from worst to best.
Ranked choice voting for you political science majors.
Yeah, so if it was worst, it got 1 point from each of us. If it was best, it could get up to 7. So all of these are point totals out of 28. So in absolute last place, and I will rearrange these as I go, is Beaufry with a total of 10 votes out of 28. I believe it was last on at least 2 or 3 people's lists. People did not like Beaufry as much as the others.
Fine, it just wasn't great.
Up next, we have a tie between Goblin Slayer and Villainess, both which got 12 points out of 20 total. Followed by Overlord Season 2, which did not impress as much as Season 1.
Overlord just got knocked out of its spot from last season.
However, it does retain its Season 1 grand prize.
Yes.
Followed by another tie between the most unexpected shows. I think none of us expected this as the outcome. But Konosuba tied with Kaguya-sama for second place, leaving Case Files of Lord Elmalloy to take this season's grand prize.
Very unexpected.
Especially because Lord Elmalloy was only the first choice of Seki, myself.
Not even the one who submitted it. The fate had me, knick-knack.
But it was universally third on everyone else's list.
And everyone else's seconds were so varied that it took, because it was first on Seki's list, it managed to push its way to the top.
Exactly. And it did have 22 points out of 28. So it did have a very good approval rating for an overall.
I guess do we want to go ahead and tell them what the vote, what everyone's favorite, like top, let's say top 3, everyone's top 3?
I'll start with Vorn. So Vorn's top 3 in order were Kaguya-sama Love is War.
Really?
Yeah. Konosuba, and then Case Files of Lord Elmalloy.
Man, he's after my heart.
Realm Shifters was Overlord Season 2, Goblin Slayer, and then Case Files of Lord Elmalloy. My personal was Lord Elmalloy, Beaufry, and then Villainess. And yours was Konosuba, Kaguya-sama Love is War, and Lord Elmalloy.
It makes sense because Vorn and I were basically...
you just switched Konosuba. Actually...
it was just in reverse.
Yeah.
So the fact that Seki was sort of the tiebreaker amongst them, it looks like.
Yeah, if I had also put Lord Elmalloy down 2 spots in third, it would have taken second.
Mm-hmm.
And Konosuba and Kaguya-sama would have tied for first and shared the grand prize title.
It's an interesting result, to be sure.
Especially because this season we did not have any animes end up split 2 and 2 on votes. Either 3 or more of us approved an anime, or only one of us did. As you can see, our C tier is completely empty.
100% empty. And then if you look at our toilet tier, it's completely empty as well, thank God. Poor Amagami SS, all alone.
I don't know. I think the Amagami SS deserves to be sad and alone.
I guess on that note, we want to flip over and show them the results all together.
Yeah, so taking into account both first and second season and changes in opinion, our completed list includes all of these shows. And our B tier has grown exponentially.
Yeah.
Like our B tier is going on 2 rows now. There are a lot of things up there. Granted, 4 of them are movies, but still.
Our C tier technically saw a net loss, losing Fairy Tail.
Yeah.
Which, it'd be great if it didn't fall to D tier.
Oh, I will endeavor to change that. I will endeavor, my friends. I would also still like to point out that Seki has the least amount of things above a C tier. However, 2 of the things above a C tier that I do have are in A tier.
Look, your One Piece ended up in B tier. I consider that an absolute win.
That's
it's
true.
next to like Fate Zero, my favorite anime. I think does Realm or Vorn have their favorite animes in here yet?
They've got Tanya.
I don't think it's
Realm.
either of them's favorite though. I don't actually.
Realm loves Tanya.
Realm hasn't submitted his favorite yet, has he?
I don't think so.
I think it's
no.
Lucky Star, isn't it?
Lucky Star's in the hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lucky Star's in the hat. So look for that coming eventually.
I don't remember Warren's favorite off the top of my head.
Yeah. But with that being said, I think we can move on to talking about some of our awards, the actual awards outside of the anime for this season, which were surprising in some ways and not so much in others.
So I won't bore you guys with the math here because there was some math behind the scenes, but effectively now everyone is being graded and under the eye of pressure. So everyone now has a grade point average based off of how the series they submit performed.
And we will be giving you grade point averages for last season as well for a few of the awards because we did retrospectively grade ourselves.
So I want to give them last season's now.
Yeah, let's start with last season. So this is in terms of GPA. This is a point scale out of 4. It's basically the same as your grades, like a grading scale.
I hope your grades are not this low.
Oh God, if your grades are this low, please seek help. Go to the counselor, talk to a tutor, pay someone to help you.
Go for a teacher. I don't know. You need better grades.
Something.
So first, for last season, Seki scored a GPA of 1.25.
Oh, even if you doubled that, that's not a college appropriate GPA. Oh.
And then Knick-Knack Me scored 1.75. Not any better.
At least doubled, you make it over 3.
And then Vorn, 1.67.
Respectable.
Joining Seki in the not over 3 doubled camp is Realm at 1.33. Now, these GPAs are important because they allow us to tell who had the best taste and who had the worst taste of the season. Last season, then, by our standard, the best taste would have gone to me and the worst taste would have gone to Seki.
Understandably.
This season, the GPAs go as follows. Seki at 2.33.
Woo!
Knick-Knack Me at 2.4. Born at 2.2. And Realm at 2.4. The winner of Best Taste goes once again to me, Knick-Knack. I know the judge happened to get Best Taste in both seasons. It's not rigged at all, I swear.
It's a trap.
And Worst Taste of this season just barely squeaked out with Vorn. Seki has lost her spot as the worst taste of the season.
Woo! I don't have the worst taste anymore.
So yeah, I guess
Vorn does. We can make fun of Vorn.
It's, let's see, did I note it? I don't think I noted it directly there, but I'll go ahead and just say who was the most improved. You could tell if you did the math here, but it's Seki.
It's me. I'm special.
She got the most improved award. Everyone knows that's awful.
Yeah, I got the tried harder award.
Yeah. And we won't be able to show you the full tallies here because it would take us too long. But if you were to keep track of the season, you'll find that the luckiest is Seki.
Of course, I mean, but I'm lucky in everything.
Who, if I remember right, won luckiest last season as well.
I did. I got the most pulls last season.
And the least lucky is Realm.
Which we talked about several times and then gave him 2 free episodes at the end because of his shit luck.
Yeah.
Like, his luck was so bad. Like, you don't even understand. I think he got 1 submission before we gave him 2 as pity. He got 1.
That's right.
Just Persona 3. And what a submission.
Yeah, that would have gone badly for his GPA if we didn't give him the freebies.
Yeah, it's a good thing that his freebies were generally loved.
Yeah.
Yeah. Poor Realm.
All right, then. And now then, we have... You'll remember this from last season, the most open and least open, which we have titled,
renamed to most accepting and saltiest fish in the sea.
Yes. For the most accepting award, with a score of 0.7, goes to Seki.
Wow.
I think she won this last season as well.
I did win this last season.
I
as
could be
well.
wrong on that. I have not gone
I
back
did.
and looked at the
I
stats.
did.
And then the saltiest fish in the sea is Vorn at a score of 0.52.
Who also, if I remember correctly from when I was editing the last video, also won Saltiest Fish in the Sea last season as well.
I guess it's better than this in terms of percentages. Seki approved shows that were not her own submission 70% of the time, and Vorn approved shows that were not his submission 52% of the time.
However, I would like to make the caveat that this is unfairly biased towards Vorn and myself, because out of all three of us, Vorn always gives the most shits because he doesn't necessarily have an ooh-woo in his vocabulary in terms of ranking. And so if he does not genuinely enjoy it, as in an approval, it goes automatically to a shit. And over here, this is unfairly skewed in favor of Knick-Knack, because Knick-Knack would rather give a show a shit than a disapproval, because he can often see good in shows more than meh over shit, because he can more often see good parts of shows.
Consequently, that means that my approvals tend to be slightly smaller.
Mm-hmm. They are very much smaller.
As I took the second saltiest fish, like the runner-up for saltiest fish in the sea was me at a 55%.
Not much difference, ladies and gentlemen.
And the runner-up at most accepting was Realm at a 63%.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Which some of those were expected, some of those were not. Honestly, I'm surprised I didn't get worse taste this season. Genuinely, most of my favorite shows are not up the boys' alleys in the least.
And that concludes our traditional awards. I've also gone ahead and, because we know these tier lists don't necessarily, even the grand prize doesn't always perfect. Like I think in Seki's case, both seasons did, but it doesn't always perfectly reflect your favorite show of the season. That being said,
we do have some shout outs to give.
I decided, let people shout out their favorite shows.
Now, but these shows are not out of any show in the season. They're out of shows that you had not seen prior to the season. So in the case of Vorn wanted to shout out...
which is weird because he did not give this series an approval, but he actually gave Kaichao wa Maid-sama a shout out, which is interesting.
I think he did on the basis that it's a solid show for new anime watchers, and it was enjoyable enough as an experience.
Yeah. I also wonder if that goes hand in hand with his rating style that got him the saltiest fish in the sea, where he's a little bit weirder about mez.
Yeah. Realm chose to shout out
Ishizoku Reviewers.
That is no surprise to me. Genuinely, 100% expected it.
Respect is not in that man's vocabulary.
Honestly, if he had known that there was an uncensored version, he would have watched it like Vorn did.
Actually, I think he did, because the censored version is harder to find than the uncensored.
So he did watch the uncensored version. Yeah, good boy, Realm. I knew he was going to say that. But I mean, Ishizoku Reviewers was a very good show, let's be honest.
Oh, 100%. My shout out for the season was a certain magical index, namely because even though I think the first season's quality was a bit varied, it clearly did something, because I then turned around and binged the entire certain like Index Railgun franchise's anime collection. So clearly I liked it a fair bit. And then Seki,
I decided I wanted to shout out Lord Elmaloy because I was sticking to shows instead of movies. I have a separate comment about movies. And Lord Elmaloy, obviously, it won my best of season. Mm-hmm. And it was an absolute approval for me. And I think it's such an odd show for anime. It's very rare that you see a really well done Sherlock Holmes and Moriarty style kind of period set detective show that's not overwhelmingly fighter or supernatural in a weird way. Like, this is honestly purely a detective show in the purest of forms. Yes, there is Fate world stuff going on in the background, but it is an amazing detective show. And I have just recently watched another detective show that's been coming out, and so this was right up my alley. And honestly, I'd recommend this to people who don't watch anime but who like stuff like Sherlock Holmes and Agatha Christie.
Fair. So you said you wanted to make a comment about the movies? I
do. I have a comment about two of our movies that were universally loved. And I do say loved, especially in the case of Saint Onisan. Saint Onisan ended up in B tier, as you have all heard or seen the episode on. And I would like to make the comment that it only ended up there because the Saint Onisan movie is split up into 4 episodes. It's not one continuous storyline or movie, and there's no overarching plot other than the fact that they're vacationing. And because of that, Nick Nack felt that the format wasn't ideal for a movie kind of viewing
It felt kind of
experience.
exhausting to watch all 4 in a row.
Yeah, which is understandable, but I do want to clarify that he in no way felt that the story or the characters were bad. And if it was not in that format, if I had shown it to him broken up into 4 chunks, he would have approved it as my special submission.
Yep. The next movie she's going to bring up
It's
could get her a retroactive Saltiest Fish in the Sea award.
It's a little weird because I think personally, Lupin the Third, the First was our final movie. And it was kind of the deciding factor about whether or not I was going to get a worst taste. Honestly, if Nick Nack had approved it, I would have gotten worst taste for the season. So I'm very glad I didn't get worst taste. But I also think it's a very solid movie. It was critically acclaimed, and it was released in both English and Japanese. And I think because it's the only movie we've had so far that has been critically acclaimed and released internationally. And it has some really good music and soundtrack. And on the whole, we generally thought it was a pretty fun movie, especially if you're into the whole spy archaeologist thing.
It was just me. I'm the one with the stick up my ass. Sorry.
But unlike the Tanya movie and
Garden of Sinners overlooking view.
Yeah, Lupin and Saint Onisan were not based on a previously existing franchise.
Lupin was.
Well, yeah, but I meant it's not because Garden of Sinners is Fate adjacent, right?
Kind of. It actually predates Fate by a fair bit. It's basic. It's by all means it's standalone on its own. It's just that it's part of a bunch of films. It's also a
series of movies, right?
And it's honestly not very good as an introduction. Like,
yeah.
It turned me off the movie.
Also, it's only like 40 minutes. It's more
barely
of an OVA.
a movie. But it was given a movie budget and released in theaters, so it does not count as an OVA, so it counts as a film.
But those were the 2 shout-outs that I wanted to make about movies. And with that being said, I think we've had a generally positive season.
Yeah.
I think it's odd that when we're given the autonomy to make our own choices instead of having everything come out of lottery style like we did in season 1, given the autonomy, we do generally try to kind of pander to one another in a lot of ways. Like we do try to suggest things that each other will like, because I think we all kind of want that best of season A tier outcome.
I think we just don't want people to shit on our favorite shows, so we try to find a way to get it.
It's very hard having a show that like everyone else shits on. Believe me, I understand.
All of her favorite shonen scored lower than she'd like.
They really all did, except for One Piece. I can understand that. A B tier is great. It's not where it should be. It should be God tier above Grand Prize, but yeah,
I feel like we shattered an illusion with our reception of the season 1 with Reborn, though.
Oh God, that we're not going to talk about Reborn. That wasn't this season. No. But I do have sympathy for those of us who have now found themselves in the same place I was last season, owning all of the D and E and C's pretty much. Now you guys have some stake in it too.
I mean,
you have a Fate there. Realm's got Persona, and Vorn's got Invaders.
I mean, it's still just you and me in the D tier.
Yes, and it's all mine except for Fate.
You have nothing in E tier though. Congratulations.
I do. I have nothing in E tier. To be fair though, I don't. Unlike The Boys, I do not suggest shows that I don't already like usually.
That's one thing, but I don't think anyone outside of me with my Garden of Sinners, which was partly because I wanted to get us through that movie and partly because I needed someone to trash talk it with. I don't think any of those shows are ones that people had watched all the way through before submitting.
No, Realm had never seen the Persona movie. He had not watched Day Alive all the way through. And I know, Vorn had watched Invaders of the Rokujoma.
He did.
He had.
But he did it for a similar reason to me where he wanted to shit on it.
Yeah.
And he had seen Data Live, but he doesn't like the first season as much as the later ones.
Yeah. And of course, Uwu, we have someone joining Domestic Nakanajo. Honestly, those 2 shows are on 2 totally different levels. Watch Ishizoku, not Domestic.
I think you should watch Domestic. You'll come out a much different person.
And once again, our only toilet show is Amagami.
I'd say poor Amagami
but no, it doesn't deserve it. No.
We haven't found a show that
bad.
Amagami created
the shit tier.
So I'm waiting for a show that catches it.
Yeah, genuinely. Although I've seen some of the things Realm Shifter has put into the hat, and honestly, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a couple more things in there if they get pulled. But with that being said, I think we can talk about where we're going from here next season.
Yes.
So you'll be seeing a video coming up in 2 weeks that we'll have filmed quite a bit earlier than that.
I think I wanted to start with our new hat system, I guess.
Yeah, so our random hat is remaining the same. We are still having single submission. We've decided that we're going to continue putting in only single submissions of anime until we get to 365 unique anime in the hat. Currently, we're at approximately 110. And with the fact that we do submit every week, 4 are submitted and only 1 is potentially pulled or removed, that does mean an exponential increase, of course. So we will hit 365 relatively soon. And the random hat will continue to be Rando. Rando will have his own submissions like he did this season, even though they weren't utilized fully.
Now, as for how we pick the anime, anyone who watched that was it the Lupin episode, will have heard a weird random comment about communism. That is because this is the theme of our next season.
Everyone will get equal rights. Everyone, including Rando, will have exactly 5 submissions.
Oh god, GPAs are going to be shot.
I will have 5. Knick-Knack will have 5. Realm will have 5. Vorn will have 5. Rando will have 5. And we will, of course, have our obligatory Trash Taste episode at the very beginning of the season. Not sponsored, not an ad, and not affiliated in any way with the Trash Taste podcast, although we do love them.
Yeah, go watch them. They're great.
Yeah.
Although if you're watching us, you're in the anime community, you've heard of them. Because you've probably heard of us.
If you've heard of us, you've heard of them. But with that being said, like I said, communism, the greatest of all governmental forms.
Truly. And then after that, I did want to go over what our new episode formats would look like.
Yeah, we're going to have new release formats as well. So we're going to be attempting to move up to 3 episodes a week coming out. And they'll be on a 2-week cycle. So 6 episodes over the course of 2 weeks coming out Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays at 12 p.m. Western Standard Time. Wow, I fucked up there.
Assuming that our upload schedule remains consistent, which around finals week it can get a bit.
If it doesn't come out at 12, check again at 6. And if it doesn't come out at 6, wait 3 weeks. That seems to be my cycle.
So on the first week, it'll be on a 2-week cycle.
So the first week of the 2-week cycle, we will have a Monday, a Wednesday, and a Friday. On that Monday, we will be releasing a Talk No Jutsu, which we've released 1 of on the channel so far. But
we got a few more recorded after that, but we never actually uploaded them. So you'll first be seeing those come up, and then it'll be brand new stuff we've recorded since.
And the Talk No Jutsus are a little bit more focused. They're usually between only 2 people, but it can be any combination of us.
Typically, it'll be Seki and I. Like it'll be like this.
And they're typically a little bit more well-researched, and we talk about topics to do with the anime and manga industries and shows on a more general basis.
Or sometimes we're just shooting the shit.
Yes. And then on our Wednesday, we will have a personal content video. Now, this can come from any one of the 4 of us. Several of us have individual series we're looking at making.
Or if we have nothing coming up that week, it'll just be whatever the next Talk No Jutsu in line is, because
we're lazy. And Seki has to do all the editing, even if it's not her own video.
Yep.
Friday, we'll post our spoiler-free review of the anime for that 2-week period, which will include a short discussion on music and production value. So we'll talk about our general thoughts, give our approvals or disapprovals.
It's a combination of the first 2 videos of our current cycle, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And it should remain relatively the same in format. It's just going to be all in one upload.
Exactly. Then during the second week of the cycle, it will be once again Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday, we will release a combined characters, story, and themes. So our second 2 videos of the cycle that we have currently, because they go pretty well together. Often when we talk about storyline, we talk about characters because they're...
And it'll often slip between them. It's been kind of awkward in some cases where the characters really drive the story.
Yeah, especially on character-driven stories. And then on
Wednesday, we post a video of a baboon shaking its ass for 3 minutes.
Not actually, but I'll find one if you ask me for it.
It's free thoughts, but we'll also be adding... It'll be free thoughts like we have now. You'll still see the next
But
show proposed.
it might be a little bit more disjointed because it can involve tangents and that kind of thing that we can't.
That being
put
said,
in the
I
other
think we also do
episodes.
want to try ahead of time focusing on, which is almost like a mini Talk No Jutsu.
Yeah, but it'll be focused on the individual anime if we can do that.
You actually might see something more similar to it where they're uploaded if you upload that little mini test thing we did earlier.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it'll be like, here's the topic we're discussing. Generally, it'll be Seki or I proposing the topic, and the others won't be given too much advance notice. So it'll be fairly on the spot still.
Yeah. And then our final video for the week.
We'll also be doing a preview of the next show that gets submitted.
Yes.
In that video as well.
Yes.
Where we'll off camera watch a trailer or the OP if we can't find one of the anime. And maybe read a brief synopsis off Wikipedia or something.
Theatrically, it'll be amazing. If we read a synopsis off of Wikipedia, you'll hear us read the synopsis. Yep. That's actually a great idea. We should do that. And
once we're done with that, we'll discuss it. Put our thoughts, expectations. If it's something we know we've done before, we'll discuss what it needs to do differently to improve a tier or what it can mess up, that kind of thing.
And then on our final Friday, we'll have, once again, personal content.
Or Talk No Jutsu if we're lazy.
Yes. And, you know, as far as personal content's going, we have quite a few things in the works besides Talk No Jutsus. There's a whole series of drafted video essays on common tropes in anime and that kind of thing. And the genres and, what's the word for age categories? Genres and demographics that anime is defined by, and whether a demographic can also be a genre.
I haven't got much prepared yet, but you know me, I'm the Fate head. I have to do an obligatory guide into getting into Fate.
There's a decent chance I'll do a guide on One Piece. Maybe we can convince Realm to sit down with me and do an interesting guide on his opinions on the Persona franchise. And then Born can do one on Railgun, Accelerator, and Index.
And hey, maybe we'll actually get around to doing that Seki Reacts to Fate characters finally.
And if you have something you are interested in us doing that would relate to personal content or anything like that, I mean, put it down in a comment.
We'll
Twitter us. Send us a message on Mao, which all of our Maos are in the description now, the three of us that have them.
This is your chance to see the series that we otherwise don't cover because of our stupid hat system.
Yeah, like let's say one of you wants to have like an actual guide to getting into Fate. I will sit Nick Dak down in a padded room with a microphone and monitor him until it sounds good enough for your ears.
And then, hey, maybe you just want one of us to expand upon our thoughts from the episode. Let us know, and maybe we'll throw a video out there if we think it's worth doing.
If you think that a book is perhaps better than the anime that we watched, message for Seki, me, or Vorn. We're always willing to read something because that goes so much faster than watching.
If I am that uninformed, let me know, and maybe I'll go ahead and read as well. Don't ask, Realm. That man, that takes a precious Dark Souls time.
That's true. But man, you want to talk Dark Souls or Demon Souls, I will send you to his Twitter.
We've also got that D&D campaign we're playing on the side, so maybe we'll give you a story from that at some point.
Maybe I'll finally convince Nick Nack to sit down and walk you through how to design a Fate Grand Order D&D campaign.
I'm still working that out myself.
It's going very well, we promise you. We'll maybe even include story time of a few horrific incidents.
Yeah.
Oh God.
That being said, I think that covers it for the season, right?
Yeah, I'm excited to move into season 3.
It's bittersweet though. It'll be a bit before we personally. Like, you shouldn't have any breaks on.
No,
it'll be a bit before we get back to it.
Yeah, I mean, we do need some time. We've been watching a lot of anime.
Too much anime.
So much anime. Also, it doesn't help that Nick Nack has single-handedly convinced me to get back into seasonal anime.
Ooh, I did it. If you watch that one of the short versus long videos that went up, that's probably gonna go up after this. I don't think it went up yet.
Nope.
You'll find I did it since then.
Yeah. Actually, Size Matters might have been the one that did go up.
You're right. I think it did go up. I think that was the one that went up because that's the one we can make the clickbait title for.
Guys, size always matters. You should go check it out. See how you feel about long anime versus short anime. You know, let us know. We're interested. I prefer long anime and Nick Nack prefers short anime. With a few notable exceptions.
I mean, I can enjoy a long anime. It's just they have a larger chance of losing me.
But yeah, I think with that being said, I hope everyone's doing okay. I mean, I know it's been a rough year that we've been uploading these.
Where we're at least in America, we're only just showing signs of leaving the pandemic.
Yeah, going
So-
back slightly to normal. I mean, I swear I walked into a store the other day that had been requiring masks and gloves, and I almost cried when they told me that if I had my card, I could take my mask and my gloves off. It was amazing, honestly. You know,
I guess with that, try harder, everyone.
yeah.